What's up, guys? So it's been a little while since I got the 05 and I've been driving it a pretty good amount here lately, especially since the problem child's not been drivable. So as I've gotten to know it, I've noticed a lot of differences between the 04 and up body style and the 03 and back body style W bodies, or at least as far as Grand Prix go. So I thought today I might do a video comparing and contrasting the two. So maybe we can see which is better, the newer or the older ones. Now I will exclude the pre-97 body style W body Grand Prix for now, just because I don't have one here to include in this. But if anyone out there would like to loan me one for a day, I would be glad to add that into the comparison in another video later on. But for now, I've broken this up into some categories, and let's talk about the good and bad side of each one. So my first category is going to be ride comfort. And I'm not 100% comparing apples to apples here, I will admit. This car is a base model and my other two are GTPs. There are some suspension differences between the two, so I'm gonna try to be fairly broad in that regard so that we're as fair as possible here. But I will say a couple things that I do like about these newer ones as opposed to the older ones. First of all, I've really actually grown to enjoy this big bulky steering wheel. At first I thought it looked a little obscene compared to the more classic looking steering wheels in the older cars. But as I've driven it, I like how thick it is. I like the way it feels driving it around. And as I've come accustomed to it, I think it's kind of comfortable. And also the seats in these cars, though I think maybe the older ones look better, I think this seat design is more supportive. It has definitely got better bolster support. And I know for me, a person who has back problems, the lumbar support is better in these seats also, and it just kind of fits me better. So I'm gonna have to give a little bit of an edge to the 05 on that one. Ride comfort in these older Grand Prix is decent for what they are. The only problem is that most of these cars are getting to be pretty old at this point. The seats tend to have hardened up. The cushioning tends to be mashed down. It is harder to find one of these that's in really good shape anymore. And that impacts ride comfort to an extent. But I think I could take either of my GTPs on long road trips as much as I want and never feel like I'm just really suffering. The controls are definitely ergonomic enough. The interior is pleasant enough to look at, so I'm pretty happy with that. Next topic is performance. And once again, I can't compare apples to apples here with the cars that I have. One is a GTP and one's a base model. But in that regard, there is a GTP model for the 04 and up, but there's also a GXP model, which was missing from the previous body style. Considering that even apples to apples, the GTPs have a little more power, I would have to give overall performance to these later cars, as you do have more options for performance engines that do make more power out of the box. However, if you're building one up, I don't think that there's any difference much really between the two platforms. You can make an 04 up just as fast as you can make an 03 down. They're all powered mostly by supercharged 3.8s and the 5.3 anyway. They're all pretty comparable. So I'm gonna have to call that one a tie. As far as performance goes in these older cars, the L67 is the main drivetrain or engine of choice. And performance-wise, I like them. They're easy to work on. They make good power. The older ones do have some different options and do make a little bit of extra power. But if you're building one up, there's no reason you can't make this one just as strong. So I don't feel like there's a big difference there. Next up is styling. As far as styling goes, if you had asked me before owning one, I think I would have hands down preferred the older ones. But these newer ones, there are some things I don't like about the styling, but overall, it definitely grows on you. It's a good looking car. The GXP specifically is really nice looking. And the special editions that had the lip, I really like the way those come out. And I've seen a few with wheels on them lowered that were really nice looking cars. So these 04 and up are definitely styled in the typical Pontiac way. I think Pontiac's pretty good at styling in general. Now, when it comes to styling, let me just go ahead and admit, I am a 90s kid. So I do have a little bit of a tendency to like some dated styling. I'm sorry. But as far as I'm concerned, it is pretty hard to beat the classic good looks of these earlier W bodies. I think that the first generation of W body Grand Prix, the pre-97s, were very in their niche for that time period and have aged out to a little bit more of something that you kind of have to be into or not. Whereas I feel like the 97 through 03 body style, the looks are just as at home on the street now as they used to be. I still think it's a good looking car in general. Next category we have is value. Value, let's be honest, is never gonna be great on older American cars. The 04 and up body style Grand Prix suffer from this same problem, as most of these can be picked up fairly cheaply. This one was free, so you probably can't get one this cheap, but with the exception of some of the newer GXPs, these are all really, really inexpensive cars, but when you go to resell them, you can't really expect to have a whole lot come out of them either. As far as value goes with these older Grand Prix, it kind of falls into the same rule as any older American sedan. This is not an investment car. If you're looking to make money off of it, or you're looking to be able to sell it in 10 years for more than it's worth now, probably not the way to go. The only value you're gonna get out of these cars is the fact that they're very inexpensive to own. They are really fun cars to drive. Mine have been really good to me, except for that one. And for no more than it costs to get into one, it's a great platform to play with. Just don't expect to make a profit on it when you finally get ready to let it go. The final category is how easy is each car to live with? And for the most part, I don't think most of these cars are very difficult to live with. But I do want to point out a couple things on the 04 and up body style that I really like. And that is, one, the fact that the rear doors were made to open instead of here like a normal car, all the way to this point, which makes access in and out of the back seat extremely convenient. And also that the back seats fold all the way down on both sides, allowing you a huge through space to put things in the trunk. So if you're like me and you don't have a truck, but you probably need one because you're always hauling car parts, it's really nice to have all that space. So they've done a pretty good job with this body style of making it really usable. So how easy are these older Grand Prix to live with? I would pretty much call them average for the most part. Compared to other similar sedans and stuff that I've had, they're pretty equivalent. Not a lot of really particularly special stuff. The two doors are a little difficult to live with if you've got kids that are having to get in and out of the car all the time. But the four doors are great cars, low maintenance, nothing really to deal with. So first of all, make sure that you like this video, that you're subscribed to my channel, you've hit the bell icon. Let me know down in the comments before I answer this question, which generation you think is better. But the final answer from me, which is better, new or old? I would have to say, just get both. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.